I've been having a Twitter war with Mark Levin, and before that with this guy Abe Greenwald of the Commentary magazine, and many others who have just decided I'm against them because I won't disavow Tucker. I would take Mark Levin or Abe Greenwald or any of these people who are just very, very pro-Israel and are mad at me over the Tucker thing any day of the week over this crew. I'm going to show you a soundbite. It's going to disturb you. You haven't seen it because it just hit. It's fucking awful. It's Joy Reid and those two hateful hens. I don't know what their names are. One I think is named Jennifer. She's all over the internet only saying hateful things about Republicans, but this one is particularly vicious about Erica Kirk. Watch this.
Motivates them so they can't have the successor to MAGA be the guy with the brown Hindu wife. They're also Christian nationalists. That ain't gonna work. That's why he's throwing his wife under the bus. Poor Usha. Or she's in on it, right?
And she's playing slap and tickle with Erica Kirk's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Yeah, she's like in her Tammy Faye era.
Okay. Holding on the back of his head and rubbing on his head.
Some weird shit.
Baby. Don't do that to Jason. I'm gonna start thinking something's going on. Why are you holding the back of his head? I'm like, you're not doing that right thing. You're supposed to be a widow. You in leather pants?
Yeah.
That's not widow wear.
Could you imagine if...
Wouldn't it be the most perfect fairy tale, MAGA fairy tale?
Yeah.
If he finally sees the light that he needs a white queen instead of this brown Hindu? I mean, I'm not saying that's happening.
Right.
Or maybe that Usha's not even in on it. Maybe she's whatever. But that's one entrant. Another entrant is frankly Donald Trump Jr. If he can, keep it together.
This is so sick. She's speculating who Erica is going to be with. She's going to break up JD's marriage. She's going to wind up with Don Jr. She's not wearing the appropriate clothes in Joy Reid's view for a widow, and the nerve to get out there. That other woman, she's in her Tammy Faye era. Fuck you, you absolute disgusting evil cretin. She is in mourning. You've seen her only at very public appearances, like when she accepted the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Last night she did as a favor to me because I've been out there for Charlie and she knew Charlie and I were friends. And yeah, when she goes on camera, terrible, awful, unknown podcast lady, she puts on makeup because the Klieg lights are on her, because the cameras are on her. And if she didn't, you'd be judging that too. So yeah, she's beautiful and she's used to looking nice on camera. And that's to her credit that she's able to pull it together. She cried the entire night, Benny Johnson, but through our interview the other night, she was holding it together, but she was nonstop tears. But she looked beautiful. And these 8 hateful witches hold it against her and want to speculate about how it's an ultimate MAGA fantasy for JD to break up with the brown one and wind up with Erica Kirk. What kind of hate? Give me the divided, angry right any day of the week.
Yeah. And there's a difference. The difference actually is in the data. I mean, what you saw there, you're exactly right to call it hateful, evil. It's demonic to laugh at and speculate on a widow who just had her children orphaned and her husband killed on a live stream. And the world saw it murdered in some of the most heinous act of political violence in our generation. I mean, tantamount effectively to our own JFK assassination. And this is what happened. Mm-hmm. And so now they're harassing and making fun of, our era's Jacqueline Kennedy.
Yeah.
And what does it say about you when you can do something like that? How could you possibly resort to doing that? First off, being a parent, you're a parent. I'm a parent of young children. Being a parent of young children is the most excruciating and most difficult and toughest job on earth. And then to celebrate the widowing of that woman and the orphaning of those children, you're evil. You're a demon, in fact. That's just demonic activity. And I can say that as a Christian, not as a pejorative, but as something that is doctrinal. from a Christian perspective, because you can see actually the fruits of Satan in people. You can know them by their actions. In fact, you can judge people by their fruits. Now, let me explain, Megan, why I know that the right won't do this. Because as we talked about earlier in this show, Joe Biden has terminal cancer. Now, I have an audience. We have 20 million subscribers across multiple platforms. We track very closely sentiment of our audience for certain topics. I didn't find a single member of my audience celebrating Joe Biden's imminent death. No one. I, as a matter of fact, prayed for him live on the show. I prayed for him. Now, I think Joe Biden's the worst president in American history. I think I've spent as much effort as I possibly can to make sure that he doesn't become president again, or that we hampered as much of his time as president as possible. I don't like Joe Biden. I don't want Joe Biden anywhere near power. I didn't once laugh, giggle, or snort at Joe Biden becoming a widow or his children losing their father, because I can separate the human element of this, the spiritual element of this, my soul, right? As a person, I want that to be reflective of Christ. That's my religion. I can separate that from the politics. The left can't do that. Why, Megan? And it's very important to understand why. The left can't do that because they don't believe in God. According to Gallup, 93% of Republicans believe in God or a God. Less than 60% of Democrats believe in God. So you can just kind of round number that to about half of Democrats don't believe in God. If you don't believe in God, then you don't believe that we were created in God's image. This is the first book of Genesis. This is like the doctrinal creation story shared across religions, that we are created by God and we have a purpose and we have value higher than the animals, that we're created different, and that all human life is precious no matter who you are, where you come from, what your skin color is, and that it is a moral evil to take that life or to celebrate the taking of that life. And that, Megan, is the ball game. That actually explains these differences. If you don't believe in God, if you have that hatred in your heart, if you don't believe that human life is precious and all life is effectively just a power struggle, then you're just simply going to want power. And if it takes death to get there, then you're just like all the other Marxists who've killed 100 million people this last century. Pol Pot, Mao Zedong, and Joseph Stalin. You're the same as all of them. And here's the final thing I'll say on this, Megan. They want us to hate them because that means they win. When hatred inspires more hatred through name calling or sneering or laughing at orphaned children, when they can pull you down to their level, when Satan can tell you to eat the apple and you take a bite, and you then begin to reflect the same hatred they have, they win. That's why they call you an anti-Semite. That's why they call you a racist. That's why they call you Hitler. Is it because I'm Hitler? No, it's because they want me to hate them. They make absurdities. They make these straw man arguments, and they come at you, okay, come at your family, they come at your children to bring you down to their level. And if they can do that, they win. That is why critically in this Christmas season, Megan, we have to remember as Christians, and we have to remember as the moral movement that we are, the 93% of our party that believes in God and believes in the foundations of this country. We have to not let them win by welcoming that hatred into our hearts. And they're working overtime to get us to hate them. We must respond with,
and some of us are weaker than others. Like
we have to respond with love. We have to respond with love and laughter and charity and joy. And there's nothing evil hates. And there's nothing evil hates more than us laughing in their faces, living out our lives with our children, with our loving families, with the things they will never have. And that destroys them. They're miserable and we're happy. That means we've won.